Dear students, welcome to our class on climate change, IPCC's 2007 key statements, last one 16th. Now, the last statement is a conclusion. That's what it was mentioned. It was mentioned as a conclusion. Why? Because the first statement is the present day. Under the present day, only one statement is there. Second one, the future. There are 7 statements are there, key statements. Under actions, again 7 are there. Fourth one is the conclusions. The conclusion statement of the IPCC. Okay, as I said several times during our earlier classes that Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change 2007, okay, is a report, is the basis for 2100 between, okay, 2007 to 2100 and beyond, what are the things to be done either in the mitigation or adaptation or avoidance, whatever it may be, the future, the actions and the conclusions. Now, as far as the concluding statement is concerned, we will need a mix of adaptation and mitigation measures. We will need a mix of mitigation and adaptation measures. Not only mitigation, not only adaptation, a combination of these two. To meet the challenge of climate change, what we need? We have to go for a mix of adaptation and mitigation measures. Of course, designing this mix is hampered by, this also is very clear. I read once again after a minute from now. This is hampered by what? A lack of information on the costs and benefits of adaptation. What are the costs? What are the benefits of adaptation? Okay, so IPCC, that's why India, of course, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is Nobel Peace Prize Laureate 2007. So they were absolutely clear. After 1 minute, I am going to read an elaborative statement in one line, how it is hampered, why it is being hampered. Maybe, in future, what is going to happen to adapt both these two, adaptation and mitigation. Now, here, 2 to 3 important points of conclusion statement I would like to enlighten. Listen very carefully. I read as it is from the original report. I read as it is from the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program report as it is. Okay, right. Now, even the, listen kindly, very carefully. This is a wonderful statement. Key statement, even though it takes a minute and a half or maximum 2. Please listen very carefully. Even the most stringent mitigation efforts cannot avoid some impacts. Even the most stringent mitigation measures cannot avoid some impacts of climate change over the next few decades. This is the one. Indeed, we are beginning to see those impacts now. By 2007 itself, indeed, we are just seeing now. That's what was the statement. This makes adaptation essential. So, once we are seeing, we have to go for adaptation. So, this makes adaptation essential, particularly in addressing near-term impact. What is going to happen in the near term? Okay. Another very, very important statement, I read it twice. Please listen very carefully. However, unmitigated climate change would, in the long term, be likely to exceed, our capacity to adapt. That's why mitigation is essential. Once again, I read, however, unmitigated climate change would, in the long term, be likely to exceed our capacity to adapt. This is the statement of UNEP the fourth assessment. Okay, that's what. It is essential, continued there, it is essential then to develop a portfolio or mix, okay, of strategies that includes four things they have mentioned. A mix of four. Number one, mitigation. Number two, adaptation. Number three, technological, okay, development. Number four, research. Once again, I will read. A mix of these things, mitigation, adaptation, technological development, and research are essential for this thing. And analysis of the benefits of various mixes. Analysis of various mixes of strategy is severely restricted by, of course, it is severely restricted at present. At present means 2007 by the time, by lack of information. Please note, this is by lack of information on potential costs of impacts and of the costs of adaptation and mitigation measures. What is the cost? What is the benefit? What is the cost? What is the benefit? So we are unable. That's why I told, designing this mix is hampered by a lack of information on the costs and benefits. That's what. Again, I continue the cost and benefit point once again, that analysis of the benefits of various mixes of strategy is severely restricted at present by lack of information on potential costs of impacts and of the costs of adaptation and mitigation measures. For what? To combat the climate change. Of course, by lack of information on the damages avoided by adaptation and by lack of understanding of how these impacts will vary under different socio-economic development pathways. The designing, the costs and benefits depending upon the socio-economic development pathways that every region in the world is envisioning. Okay. Now, another important statement is, please, if you have time, kindly write this one. This is a wonderful statement. 2 lines I am telling. We need more observations. By 2007 itself, the IPCC, Inter-Governmental Panel on Climate Change, was explicit in saying we need more observations to support the detection of climate change. Once again, I am reading. We need more observations to support the detection of climate change and its impact at present day. We need to have so much of observations, okay, to support the detection of climate change and its impact at the present day. Last, very, very important statement. Please write if you have time. It is important that these gaps in our knowledge, are filled comprehensively and quickly. It is the need of the hour, comprehensively and quickly. Now, to sum up all the 16 statements of Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, UNEP 2007 16 statement. Quickly, I would like to give a small refreshing. Okay, what is that? The key statement 1. Okay, under 4 headings, this is given. Number 1 heading is the present day. This is the first one. Second one is the future. Okay, third one is the actions. The conclusions is the last one. Both present day, that is key statement 1. Okay. And conclusions are in 1 statement. The future and actions are in 7 each. Altogether 16 statements. Now, just for your academic interest, I sum it up like this and conclude. The present day, climate is changing now. That's it. Okay. The climate is changing now is the UNEP's statement 1. Now, from 2 to 8, that is 7 statements as far as the future is concerned. Magnitude of impacts are estimated systematically. Now we have a systematic estimation of magnitude of impact. Second, some systems are affected, whether it is agriculture, whether it is whatever it may be, some systems are affected. Some places are affected. Already some places are affected. Even high incomes are affected. 2000 is very, very unfortunate. 2003 situation in Europe. Aggregate effect is negative. That's why I was absolutely clear. In the schools of thought only I am discussing this one. Under schools of thought. But overall, the aggregate effect is negative. Extreme events more adverse. Extreme events are causing more adverse. The last key statement in the future is large scale in 21st century. At least 80 years from now, maybe large scale. That is the future they have predicted. They have not and not left like that. By just saying that climate is changing and all these. Now, what are the actions? It's very wonderful. They have given the actions also. What is it? Adaptation is limited. We need to go for more adaptation. Impacts unavoidable due to past emissions. Whatever had happened in the past, their impacts are going to be there. We have to adapt for it or mitigate for it, or a combination of these two. In the conclusion statement, like extensive adaptation required. We need to have extensive adaptation. Vulnerability exacerbated by other stresses. Reefs, okay, acidification, all these things. The non-climatic, other effects are for climate change. The impacts of climate change are added with some other non-climatic stresses. Okay, that is causing more uncomfortable, or you can say systems are affected. Now, development pathways. Now, what are the development pathways? So nobody can restrict it. We need to have industries, wonderful. We need to provide employment, excellent. Yes, we do not have the real information on the cost benefits. At that time, what is the development pathway? At the micro level, at the large scale macro level. So, development pathways have to be taken into consideration of climate change in the development pathways. Now, sustainable development. What is sustainable development? What all happened. At least from here we should not go degradation. We should not go for further negative impacts. Sustain. We should sustain here itself and get adapted or mitigated. And mitigation is an option. Mitigation is one of the options. Okay. So the last is conclusions. Adaptation plus mitigation. See, the IPCC is absolutely clear. So, beloved students, I would like to conclude the IPCC's 16 key statements in one word, that these are the hard work of innumerable scientists across the globe. They have not only told what about the present day, what are the futures going to happen, what are the actions to be done. They have given a conclusion. It's a very explicit and very open statement that we need to have more observation. This is what I would like to share with you. Thanking you very much.